There are 7 universes within our solar system.
Put a T in there and you get Steven Universe, the hit Cartoon Network show from 2013 to 2019. 2020 if you count Steven Universe Future, which I do. Which I definitely do. I was a large fan of Steven Universe. I say was because the show ended 5 years ago. I still am a fan of the show, I'm just not active online about it as I used to be. Fun fact, some of you might know my username online used to be that SU guy, and now it's redacted, because the show ended. That's the origin of my username. Redacted used to be SU for Steven Universe. I was that Steven Universe guy, and then the show ended. It's been redacted. Anyway, I had this idea for a video to test my Steven Universe knowledge. A memory test. I'm gonna go through each episode title and try to remember what the episode is just from the title. Like, just giving a brief summary of the episode just from the title, what I remember. And how many episodes of the show are there? These might not be in-depth summaries of the episodes. Strap in, this is gonna be a long one. Starting off with the pilot episode, Gem Glow. I'm calling this the pilot episode to piss off the fans that consider this the pilot. Get mad about it, leave a comment. So Steven's upset that his favorite ice cream sandwich, Cookie Cats, got discontinued, and we get introduced to the crystal gems, Garnet, Amethyst, and Pearl. They had a secret stash of Cookie Cats to surprise Steven with. He sings the Cookie Cat theme song, takes a bite of the ice cream sandwich, and his Gem Glow, the title of the episode, it summons a shield, but he has no idea how that happened, so the rest of the episode is him trying to figure out how to summon that shield again. It's like, maybe it comes from me eating the ice cream sandwich. Maybe that made my shield appear.
I summon my weapon by eating ice cream!
God, this video is already boring. I should not have a YouTube channel. Giant bug monster. Steven throws a mini fridge at it and it poofs. Laser light cannon. There's a menacing red eye in the sky. I gotta fire a laser light cannon at it. Here we introduce Steven's dad. His name's Greg. Great guy. He's got a garage full of junk. There's a laser light cannon in the back. Bring that out. And then they fire the cannon at the eye. That's the episode. I said at the beginning, these aren't going to be in-depth summaries. It's not going to be 100% accurate. Cheeseburger backpack. Steven has a backpack that is a cheeseburger. Do I even have to say anything? Do I even have to say more? They go on a mission where they bring some gem item to the top of a tower, and Steven's like, I'll carry it in my cheeseburger backpack. And then he forgets the item. He didn't bring it in the backpack, and the tower falls. They failed the mission.
Anyone want a wet bagel?
Together breakfast. Steven makes waffles and puts popcorn on it and tries to get the crystal gems to eat breakfast together. This episode mainly just shows the crystal gems rooms in the house. We got Garnet's chamber, Amethyst's den, Pearl's room full of waterfalls and spears, and then they don't even eat the breakfast together. Because why? Because why would they do that? Gems don't need to eat. Except Amethyst eats because she just likes to eat. Frybo! This one's crazy. So there's these crystal gem shards that can possess clothing to make the clothing sentient.
That's unusual!
And over in town, there's a French fry restaurant that has a French fry mascot. So of course the shards take over the mascot costume and it's terrifying. So they defeat the possessed mascot costume. That is the episode. Wonder how many of these I'm gonna end with, and that is the episode. Oh yeah, also Steven gets naked in this episode because comedy. Cat fingers. Early season 1 Steven Universe was wild, man. Amethyst shows off her shapeshifting abilities, and Steven wants to try it. But he's half human. Can he even shapeshift? He can turn his fingers into cats. The title of the episode. So he shapeshifted his fingers into cats, and the cat fingers take over his body, and he becomes this pulsating cat blob creature. He has to go through the car wash to get rid of that. Moving on. Bubble Buddies. New character introduced, Connie Maheshwaran. Steven wants to introduce himself to this new character, but a rock's about to fall on her. He saves her and traps him in a bubble. And Steven doesn't know how that bubble appeared around them, but they're stuck in there. They're stuck in that bubble together for most of the episode, trying to figure out how to get out of there. Their bubble gets knocked to the bottom of the ocean somehow. I'm not telling you, watch the episode. And they have a character-building relationship moment, and the bubble pops, they're free. And at the last minute, they throw in another monster to defeat, and that's the episode.
He was incredible!
He was incredible! Serious Steven. Not much happening in this one. They go into a temple, things happen in the temple, and they exit the temple. I don't know what you want me to say here. Oh, you want me to describe what happens in the temple? Fucking... I'm going off of memory, I don't know. Tiger Millionaire. Amethyst has a secret life as a pro wrestler.
The Purple Puma!
Amethyst is a secret pro wrestler. That is the episode.
Presenting Tiger Millionaire!
I don't care! This match is canceled!
Steven's lion. Steven discovers a pink lion, and now he has the pink lion as his pet. More on that later.
Are we really going to let him keep that?
We kept Amethyst.
I don't know what I or you were expecting with these episode descriptions. Just super bare bones. I don't know what we're doing here. Arcade mania. Steven takes the crystal gems to an arcade, and Garnet gets really addicted to this rhythm game. Like, straight up hypnotized by the rhythm game. He can't break the trance. I actually forget how Garnet breaks out of that trance, but this is going off memory. I can't fact check, but somehow she breaks out of the trance. Giant Woman is the introduction of fusion as a concept. The crystal gems can fuse into a fusion character. So Pearl, Amethyst, and Steven go on a mission, and Steven really wants them to fuse, and then they fuse. Next episode. I'm barely trying with this video. But I'm having fun, though. I'm having a good time.
The Heaven Beetle. I don't have it.
I've got the beetle! Oh yeah, I forgot. How could I forget? Amethyst twerks in this episode. I couldn't believe I was seeing that when that happened. I'm like, damn, that was hot. That's very important for the plot. I watch Steven Universe for the plot. So many birthdays. If you watched my last video on the movie Click, it's surprisingly similar. Steven discovers the crystal gems don't celebrate birthdays, so he just celebrates birthdays for a bit and has kind of an existential crisis like, am I too old for these birthday shenanigans? And then just rapidly ages himself. He just gets super old and nearly dies. The gems are freaked out.
I thought violence would be the answer.
Nah, man, just punch him real hard. Nah, man, just punch him real hard. That'll teach him to age rapidly. Oh my god. Lars and the Cool Kids. This character, Lars, he's mostly a piece of shit until season 5. Takes a long time for this character to be likable. Anyway, there's this dangerous moss around a lake that will consume anything in its path. So Pearl put up police tapes so no one would go there. But Lars and the Cool Kids, they go there anyway. They get eaten. They have to crawl up to the top of the hill to get sunlight. And that dissolves the moss. I don't know, it's science. Magic. Gem magic. Onion trade, this absolute menace, Onion, over here. Steven's collecting little guy figurines. Onion wants to trade some of those guy figurines, but Steven doesn't want to trade some of his guys. So Amethyst gives him a duplicator ray so he can duplicate the guys so he doesn't have to give one of the guys away. But he shows up to trade and Onion's like, no, I want the duplicator ray. He gets this evil look in his eyes. Chaos ensues, Onion duplicates everything, there's a pile of guys. An ocean of little guy figurines around. I forget how this episode ends. I think they break the duplicator ray, and that gets rid of the ocean of guys. If I remember correctly. Steven the sword fighter. Pearl fucking dies!
Wow.
Oh no.
Whoa, wait, back up. I gotta give context for that. Pearl wants to train Steven on sword fighting. She has a hologram Pearl to train with. The hologram Pearl kills Pearl.
Steven, it's okay. I'm gonna be just...
No!
But not really, their bodies are made of light, so they just revert back to their gem form. And when they're in their gem, they take time to reform themselves. Pearl takes her sweet time reforming her physical body, her physical light body, and the hologram Pearl is still there. It goes a bit crazy, tries to kill Steven, for real, and Pearl comes back. Episode over. Lion 2, the movie. Steven and Connie want to go see this dog copter movie. They take Lion as transportation, but Lion takes them to a secret gem armory. They see a bunch of cool weapons and armor.
Axes! Spiky chain balls! A giant penny?
Does that mean it's worth more than a regular penny?
Well, that would make sense.
And at the end, there's some floating robot head that shoots balls at them, and they defeat that. That is the episode. Beach party. There's this pizza restaurant in town that's owned by this family. I don't remember this episode at all. I just remember they play volleyball. All I remember is they play volleyball with this pizza restaurant family.
Our turn.
I'm ready.
I got this one.
Jennifer, if you touch that ball, you're grounded.
Whoa!
Daddy, you cheating!
Can we move on? Rose's room. So Steven's mom was Rose Quartz, the leader of the Crystal Gems, and she's gone. But her room in the Crystal Gem Temple is still there. And Steven goes into Rose's room, and this room full of pink clouds can create anything. Even reality itself. It recreates the entirety of Beach City, but something's off. Something's creepy going on here. Something's creepies going ons here.
What's happening? Where is everyone?
He was incredible! He was incredible! He was incredible!
What?
He was incredible!
Get me out of here! What's wrong with your faces? Lion, you too? Can someone please explain this?
This is a good episode. So Steven escapes the fake Beach City that was in Rose's room. And, moving on. Coach Steven. There's this giant tower they have to destroy, so Garnet and Amethyst fuse into Sugilite, voiced by Nicki Minaj. Why did they get Nicki Minaj to voice this fusion character? They got Nicki Minaj for this one episode for no reason. So Sugilite busts the tower, which motivates Steven to exercise for some reason.
We all need a workout. Let's do it. Let's work out together.
He just wants to get strong, because he saw that show of strength, I guess. And Pearl sings an amazing song in this episode.
Why do you have to look up to her? Aside from in a literal sense, don't you know that a power that big comes with a bigger expense? I'm telling you for your own good and not because I could show you how to be strong in the real way, and I know that we can be strong in the real way.
Sugilite is kind of this raging beast of a fusion that Pearl had to defeat to unfuse them. Joking victim. There's this donut shop in town run by Sadie and Lars. I have no idea what happens in this one. I think it was like Lars faked an injury to get out of work, and then Sadie finds out that he lied about the fake injury and got real mad. Meanwhile, Amethyst had this prank where you put fire salt on food and it makes your mouth burn. Like actual fire. So Sadie gets revenge on Lars by putting fire salts in his drink or something.
Sadie! This is gonna be so funny!
Anyway, they resolved their conflict, and what is the next episode? Steven and the Stevens, gonna make you play. So Steven finds this little time travel orb and uses it to make clones of himself to start a band.
Steven and the Stevens, we're gonna make you smile.
But the clones overtake the band and kick out the original Steven.
Oh, come on! Steven's a big fat meanie! A big fat meanie zucchini! Whoa, dude.
And since they're clones, they all have the little time orb, so they can all make clones of themselves, and there's just so many Stevens. There's like 10 million Stevens in this episode, and they all crumble to dust, Thanos style.
Arrivederci.
Monster buddies. Steven tries to befriend one of the bug monsters by kind of training it like a dog, I guess. Feeds him chips. This is another episode I don't remember. Just the premise. Steven befriends a bug monster. An indirect kiss. Steven's having a picnic with Connie and recalls the story of Amethyst cracking her gem after she fell off a cliff. She cracked her gem on a rock and starts deforming. It's like, oh gosh, how do we heal the gem? Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, Rose Quartz is Steven's mom, so Steven has her gem. And Rose Quartz had the power to heal, so Steven must have the power to heal, because it's her gem. And Rose had healing tears, so she would heal with her tears. So Steven is trying to cry on the gem, but that didn't work. So they go to Rose's fountain to try to get the fountain flowing. Eventually, at the end, Steven does cry, and I think that heals it. I think that heals the gem.
Oh, come on!
Meanwhile, at the picnic, Steven and Connie are sharing a juice box, and there was like a spit transfer, and that spit healed Connie's vision so she doesn't have to wear glasses. He found out he has healing spit. So that's a thing for later. Mirror Gem. This is the first two-part episode. Steven wants to try out this whole school thing that he's never been to. And Pearl is like, oh, you want to learn? I have a magic mirror that can teach you gem history. But this mirror has a gem attached to the back of it. So the mirror is sentient and befriends Steven. And when Steven tells the gems that the mirror is sentient and he became friends with it, the gem's like, oh no, that mirror is not supposed to be sentient. And Garnet's like, give me the mirror. Steven smacks her hand away and runs away. The mirror reveals that Steven must take the gem out of the mirror. And it's a super cool scene where the water forms a pattern around him as he's taking the gem out. It's so good. Takes the gem out, the mirror breaks.
Thank you. I'm Lathis.
Lapis lazuli.
Lapis lazuli! Let's fucking go! Let's freaking go, gamers. This absolutely had a crowd of Steven Universe fans going wild with this reveal. Just imagine this at a convention, man. That's going crazy. Going crazy. Although now that I think about it, this is like 13, 15 episodes in. This wouldn't be at a con yet. This just started. So this character is Lapis Lazuli. She's a water gem, and she just goes. She gets out of there. Ocean gem. This is part 2. Lapis Lazuli stole the ocean. She stole the whole ocean. Tell him to bring out the whole ocean.
Tell him to bring out the whole ocean. Tell him to bring out the whole ocean.
So they gotta go get the ocean back from Lapis. They drive out there, and there's a tower of ocean. The ocean tower. So Lapis duplicates the crystal gems to have them fight each other, and Steven's like, "Stop fighting, I'm coming up there to talk to you." This show is beautiful, man. Just a beautiful show. So Lapis built this whole tower trying to get off the planet. She used to be able to fly, but she can't fly because her gem is cracked in the back. But Steven remembers he has healing spit, licks his hand, just smacks her on the back like that.
Thank you, Steven.
No prob, Bob.
It's Lapis.
Yeah.
No, I think her name might be Bob, actually. So she's finally able to fly away from Earth, and the ocean tower crumbles and comes back to Earth as the ocean returns. End of that. House guest. Greg broke his leg in the last episode, so he stays at the Gems place while he recovers. Nothing happens for 11 minutes. Space race! Pearl really misses the homeworld where she came from, so she builds a rocket ship and takes Steven with her to see homeworld. But Steven stops her like, "Pearl, let's not go to space yet. Let's just explode while we're in the sky." I completely gave up on being accurate. I'm just having fun reminiscing about the show. Secret team! Pearl stole a bubble full of gem shards, Amethyst caught her, and the bubble pops, and they have to team up to capture all the shards to put him back in a bubble. And after that, they're like, "Let's not tell Garnet about this. This is a secret." And then she found out!
I'm going to kill you.
Oh no, they are dead. That's a reference for later. Island adventure. Steve and Lars and Sadie use a warp pad to go to a remote island, and Lars and Sadie start making out. Hell yeah. and then they get off the island. I left so much out of that summary. Keep Beach City weird. There's this character, Ronaldo. The fans have thoughts about Ronaldo. Truly a divisive character.
It's weird time, Petey! I'm doing big stuff!
He had this conspiracy that all the weird stuff happening in Beach City is caused by snake people, but it's actually the crystal gems causing mayhem, as they do.
Is all the weird stuff that happens in Beach City because of us?
Well, yeah, obviously.
I need some air.
This news upsets Ronaldo, so Steven tries to cheer him up by dressing as a snake people, a Sneeple, and gets bashed on the head with a potato. And the crystal gems rescue him, and Ronaldo uncovers the entire plot of the show.
Polymorphic sentient rocks! They're here to hollow out the Earth! It's part of the Great Diamond Authority!
If you're gonna have a character who's a conspiracy theorist, make them correct. It's funny. Fusion cuisine. Connie invites Steven and his family for a family dinner, but Steven doesn't have the nuclear family setup of a mom, a dad, and a child. He has 3 moms, technically.
Garnet! Quick, you have to pretend to be my mom to Connie's mom.
Hello, this is Mum Universe. Yes, the children are playing swords. Sorry, playing with swords. They're bleeding. Oh no, they are dead. Don't call again. Sorry, I panicked.
So Steven has this crazy idea.
You can all come to dinner. All 3 of you. Fused into one.
What?
Whoa.
What?
Hi, Connie.
Yeah, that works. That's not conspicuous at all. They asked for a nuclear family. This counts, I guess. And the rest of the episode is hijinks. Moving on. Garnet's universe. Watermelon Steven! Steven and his dad eating watermelons, spitting out seeds, but oh no. Steven has healing spit, so the seeds come to life. 10 million watermelon Stevens. They get into a big fight with the crystal gems, and Steven's like, "Get out!" And then they go to an island. I'd be lying if I said we never see them again. Lion 3, straight to video. Steven discovers that there's a pocket dimension inside Lion's mane that has some rose quartz-related objects here, including a VHS tape. I guess he doesn't have a VHS player at home, so he goes to the donut shop in the middle of the night and asks Sadie, yo, do you got a VHS player? I gotta play this tape real quick. And it contains a message from Rose Quartz.
Steven, we can't both exist. I'm going to become half of you. And I need you to know that every moment you love being yourself. That's me, loving you and loving being you. Because you're going to be something extraordinary. You're going to be a human being.
Hey, Rose!
Take care of them, Steven.
Iconic moment in the show. This is the first appearance of Rose Quartz. Warp Tour. Steven and the Gems mark the broken warp pads with a sticker.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck?
On their way back, Steven notices something weird outside the warp tunnel, and the Gems spend the entire episode not believing him. That he saw something, until finally this robot shows up. This is the thing that Steven saw in the warp tunnel. He was right. Haha. So the Crystal Gems follow him and the robot to where it's going, and we introduce a new gem character, Peridot, a very technical gem from Homeworld, taking notes.
Where did she come from? What was she trying to do?
She's not coming back.
I don't know, Garnet. I think maybe she comes back. Alone together. Steven wants to try to learn fusion, but they don't think he can do it because he's half human. But later he dances on the beach with Connie and they fuse! Steven and Connie fuse into Stevani. They go to the club, start dancing, this guy Kevin pervs on them for a bit, and then they unfuse.
That's 2 kids. I'm out.
Yeah, you better get your ass out of there, Kevin. Don't want to catch a case. Don't want to be Chris Hansen over here. The test. Steven feels inadequate going on missions, so the Gems construct a challenge gauntlet for him to go through, but Steven finds out the whole thing is rigged, that there is no danger. He can't possibly fail.
What?
So he's pissed. He goes on top of the gauntlet, sees the Gems at the end, ready to congratulate him, and the Gems are like, I hope Steven feels better after this.
We're bad at this.
What?
Yeah, you can't control him, and he shouldn't be taking advice from me, and we don't have Rose to tell us what to do!
But he needs us to show him how to be a gem.
Steven is not just a gem. There has never been anything or anyone like Steven. We don't know what he needs.
And Steven feels bad for them, so he goes through the gauntlet and pretends it was a big challenge for him to make them feel better. He's like, thanks guys, I really needed that. That gauntlet really proved my strengths, really tested my limits. And everyone feels great about what just happened. Future vision. Garnet has this ability called future vision. She can see multiple pathways into the future. And now that Steven knows about this power, he's constantly asking Garnet, what's gonna happen next? And so he just gets paranoid about everything. Now he's just in constant fear.
At least tell me what's gonna happen with my lunch. Do I choke on a pickle?
You don't choke on a pickle.
That means something else happens with the pickle.
The episode ends with Steven on the roof trying to get struck by lightning and Garnet trying to talk him down.
Steven! Get off the roof!
No!
And then he got struck by lightning. That's the end of the show. On the run, Steven and Amethyst go on a field trip to this place called the Kindergarten. So the Gem Homeworld had these things called injectors. They just inject gems into the earth to be popped out, but it drains the resources of the earth, and this is where Amethyst came from.
Look! Here's the hole I came out of!
Hang on. What?
This is where I was made, dude. One day just right out of this hole.
So, what about the other holes?
So Amethyst was explaining all that, and Pearl shows up like, don't tell Steven any of this. And then they have a fight, and they resolve their conflict. Horror Club. Ronaldo invites Lars, Sadie, and Steven over to the lighthouse for a spooky movie night. But oh no, the lighthouse is haunted by some gem creature. Lars continues to be a garbage character, and we find out that Ronaldo and Lars have some history, where Lars was always a dick to Ronaldo. So the lighthouse gem creature has a big open mouth, and Ronaldo throws Lars in there. I'm like, hell yeah, kill him! I was genuinely rooting for Ronaldo. Like, yeah, kill Lars, get him out of here. And so Steven gets the gem out of the lighthouse, and then they all survive and get out of there. Winter forecast. I vaguely remember this episode. I'm gonna try my best. So Connie is at Steven's house, and it's a snowing blizzard outside, and they all hop into Greg's van to bring Connie back home, but their van breaks down, I think, and they're stuck in a time loop somehow. I forget how they're stuck in a time loop. I think it's some kind of, like, future vision thing. It would make sense if I rewatched it. Maximum capacity. Wait. Shit, what is... Oh, no. Wait. Oh, yeah. Greg wants to empty out his storage garage full of junk, so Steven gets Amethyst to help out.
I don't know about this.
Hey man, it's cool. I've seen your junk before.
And they find this VHS tape of an old show called Little Butler. So Greg and Amethyst got hooked watching that show, just binge watching that show. They've just been watching that for hours. But there's New Year's Eve fireworks going on. Greg's gonna miss them. And Amethyst gets upset that Greg wants to leave. She's like, I bet you would stay if I was Rose Quartz. Shapeshifts into Rose Quartz. Just a wild episode. Marble Madness. Those little robots that were Peridot's little minions, the gems are still trying to fight them off. And Steven brings up the idea, maybe instead of continuing to fight them, we can just follow them to see where they go. So they do that, and it leads to a Peridot lair where she's concocting schemes over here. So that leads to some violent action. Peridot's like, I'm reporting this.
This was a pretty bad idea.
Rose's scabbard. Pearl finds a sword holder that used to hold Rose Quartz's sword. Used to hold real cool. She's like, ooh, maybe I should show Steven Rose's armory set. So they go to that familiar location that Lion took them to in an earlier episode. Steven's like, I've seen all this. Pearl's like, what? We're looking for Rose's sword. Steven's like, oh yeah, Lion has that. Lion has the pink sword that goes in the scabbard. The sword holder. And Pearl starts losing her shit like, who is this Lion? Since when did Rose Quartz have a lion? Why would Rose keep this a secret from me? From me, Pearl. From me, her precious Pearl.
You can't understand how I feel. None of you had what we had.
She probably just wanted to protect you like everyone else.
What do you know? You've never even met her.
So she cries and runs away. And of course, Steven follows her, and Pearl's hologram shows a flashback of Rose.
Everything I ever did, I did for her. Now she's gone. But I'm still here. Sometimes, I wonder if she can see me through your eyes. What would she think of me now?
Well, I think you're pretty great.
This is an amazing episode of the show. You gotta see this one. Open book. Connie's trying to get Steven into this book series. Steven's like, hey, we should check out the pink cloud room that can make anything possible. I forget exactly how this plays out, but somehow they both end up in Rose's room with the pink clouds that can summon anything. And they start role-playing the characters from the book series. And somehow Connie gets replaced with a pink cloud clone and the real Connie has to come rescue him. So yeah, that's the episode. Shirt Club. One of the cool kids from earlier, this guy's name's Buck Dewey. And his dad's the mayor, Mayor Dewey. Mayor Dewey's trying to make t-shirts to campaign for his election. Also, Steven drew this picture of his dad with a guitar. He shows it to Buck Dewey. He's like, this is hilarious. We gotta make t-shirts of this. Steven doesn't realize he's being made fun of for his drawing. He's like, oh, everyone loves the art I made of my dad. I'm glad everyone likes it. And Buck Dewey is like, no, this is ironic. We like this ironically, Steven.
You really love your dad. It's funny.
I don't want to make these shirts anymore.
But little did he know, Buck Dewey has his own embarrassing artwork of his dad from earlier, and Steven makes that into a shirt, puts that into a t-shirt cannon, and assassinates Mayor Dewey with that t-shirt. Buck Dewey's like, damn, a taste of my own medicine. Anyway, let's go to the next episode. Story for Steven. Flashback episode, young Greg rocking out, Mr. Universe over here.
The moment that I hit the stage, I hear the universe calling my name.
God, he's so cool. This is where he meets Rose Quartz for the first time. And falls in love. He's like, sorry, I can't play more for you. I gotta go on tour. But while he's riding in the van, he realizes he loves this woman. He's gotta go back to her.
Hey, are you in there? I can play for you now. I even revamped my awesome set.
Your life is short and you have dreams. I won't let you give up on everything you want.
Well, that's gonna be a problem.
Huh?
You're everything I want.
The most epic love story ever told. The message. The Wailing Stone activates.
It's the Wailing Stone! Make it stop!
They try to muffle the sound, but nothing works. It's transmitting some sort of audio message. Greg knows about audio engineering, so he tries to decipher the message, but it shorts out his van battery. So maybe it's not audio, maybe it's a video message. So they try to decode it in video signals, and it's a message from Lapis, saying that Homeworld is coming to invade.
Please, don't put up a fight. It will only lead to devastation.
It's Peridot. She must be talking about Peridot.
She's coming for us!
Oh my god, it's so scary. Speaking of scary, political power. That's the real scare. Pearl fiddling with some electronics causes a blackout in Beach City. And we see Mayor Dewey trying to calm the townspeople, saying, the power will be back on soon. He has no idea when the power will be back. He's just lying to people. And Steven goes up to defend him, like, he's just lying to make you feel safe. To protect you. Oh yeah, also the whole time that's happening, the crystal gems are having conversations and leaving Steven out of it. So Steven confronts them like, tell me what's going on. The gems are super scared for this invasion from Homeworld. And the power comes back on and the episode ends immediately. The return. Another part 1 of 2 episodes. The invasion begins. A spaceship, shaped like a hand, turns the entire episode green. Steven protects the gems from impact with his big shield. And we get introduced to Jasper, this absolute beefcake of a gem here. And Jasper has this destabilizer rod that can poof the gems and absolutely rocks their shit. Steven gets knocked out, and we go to Jailbreak. Steven wakes up in a jail cell, he can just walk right out. That didn't stop him at all. Because he's half human, he can just walk through that. He finds the character Ruby, and Ruby has to find her partner Sapphire. They find each other, they reunite, and it's revealed that Ruby and Sapphire fused to make Garnet. Garnet was a fusion this entire time. That's a big reveal. And so Garnet and Jasper have a fight scene to one of the most iconic songs from the show.
Go ahead and try, hit me if you're able. Can't you see that my relationship is stable? I can see you hate the way we intermingle, but I think you're just mad cause you're single.
And they crash the handship back to Earth, and they all crawl out from the wreckage. Oh no, Lapis was there, tries to fly away, but Jasper grabs her back.
Lapis, listen. Fuse with me.
What?
Lapis has a choice to make here. Either she can fuse with Jasper, or literally anything else. Do anything else. She fuses with Jasper to create Malachite, a beast fusion. But the Lapis part of the fusion chains Malachite to the bottom of the ocean.
Yikes.
And thus concludes Season 1 of Steven Universe. Similar to Lapis, I have a choice to make. Either I stop the video here and continue this as a series of videos where I go season by season, going through all these episodes in this similar fashion, or do every episode in one huge long video. If this video suddenly ends abruptly, you know which one I ended up doing.